Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of
Welcome, everyone, to the NBA on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan alongside Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. The fans are making noise here inside the Oracle Arena for their Warriors. And it's the Warriors to start out. And the starting group for the Spurs. Defensive-minded Green and Leonard are the wings. Aldridge out there with Duncan. And it's Parker in at the point guard. Now here's Curry. And it's Green missing. Kawhi Leonard with another great season last year earned his first Defensive Player of the Year award with his outstanding play.
And for Leonard, he became the first perimeter player to win one since 2004. That just shows you how incredible his defense was at times.
Here's San Antonio. Now let's find out what head coach Greg Popovich had to say to Doris Burke. Doris?
One player that he's talked to his guys a lot about is Stephen Curry. He said Curry's one of the premier shooters in the game, and he's got that quick trigger. We really have to be tight to him, get physical, and try to get him on his heels as much as possible. Guys, Curry is an excellent free throw shooter. We'll see if they can do that without fouling him.
And as always, Doris, thank you. Leonard, no luck. The Warriors have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. A shot by Thompson and no one's around. And a great assist by Curry as that one goes in. Parker kicks to Aldridge. There's the dish to Leonard. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. No good from Duncan. The Warriors have gone 2 for 4 from the field so far today. Outside Curry. Green, the screen, and the officials will call the illegal screen right there.
Yeah, you've got to make sure your feet are set when you set those screens, or they're going to call that on you.
Well, I thought maybe he was set. I know that's a difficult call to make, but I think they might have missed that one.
So first quarter just over a minute and a half in. Parker kicks to Aldridge. Shoots from 12. Great tee that time from Green.
The inside just a bit too congested for him to get the usual shot he would have with rhythm.
What a year for the Warriors. Clark won their division for the first time in 39 years, ran away with the very tough Western Conference.
And there were a number of surprises last season, Kevin, but the Warriors were at the top of the list. I mean, I don't think anybody, including you and I, pegged them to be as good as they were.
Especially the way the finals began.
Exactly.
That's good.
How in the world did they let him get that wide open?
Golden State's gone 0 of 2 from deep here. Parker against Curry. Over in the corner, Barnes. And the Warriors miss again.
And the Warriors won 51 games back in 2014, improved that mark by 16 wins last season. Among teams that won at least 50 games in the previous year, that 16-game improvement was an NBA record for the Warriors.
Here's Curry, following the basket by LaMarcus Aldridge. Curry attacking. It's stolen by Duncan. Parker against Curry. 14 feet away. Again, the Spurs good for 2.
It goes without saying the Warriors set franchise records all over the place with their play. Their win total being the highest ever, but also of note was it was the first time they've won 50 games in back-to-back seasons. They seem to truly have arrived as a top-notch franchise in this current state of the NBA.
And the Warriors decide to take their first time out here.
There are certain things, guys, that you can always count on in life. Death, taxes, and, of course, the Spurs winning 50 games in the regular season. Happened for the 16th straight season last year.
Looking at who's out there now for the Warriors. Spates checked in for Bogut. Iguodala comes in for Barnes. Leandro Barbosa. He's checked in for Klay Thompson. And it's Livingston in for Steph Curry. 9 feet out. And that one hits back iron. Warriors trail by 5. Iguodala outside to stop the run. Livingston, that's good. Livingston's got his first points of the game.
He's so tough to guard. He can fake you one way and then just spin right by you.
2-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Here's Diaw. Loses the defender with the screen and drills the jumper.
Perfect screen there. Set him up with a terrific look.
Yeah, I like the fact that the setup was good, the screen was solid, but you also have to look at the fact that the defender didn't do his job as well as he could have.
And he didn't get quite enough under that one.
The defense better not make a habit of giving him that shot. I mean, he doesn't miss many of them.
And that concludes the first quarter of play. It's the Spurs leading by 5. It's the NBA on 2K Sports from Oracle Arena in Oakland, California. And the San Antonio Spurs have really popularized that unselfish offensive style of play. Manu Ginobili talked about their
attack and find the open teammate, not try to solve problems by ourselves. It's something that we've never done, and every time we did it, it's not us.
There's a lot to be said for knowing, Greg, who you are and what your game plan is, and there may be no other team that gets that better than the San Antonio Spurs.
And Kevin, it helps to have that core of Manu, Tony, and Timmy there as the foundation, and coaches on the floor for each new wave of players that come on board, whether it's Leonard or Splitter, Mills, Green, or any of the other role players that have come through this Spurs organization.
And now the second quarter just getting set to start. And before we move on, what do you guys think about what we've seen so far from the Spurs?
Defense paying huge dividends for them through the first.
Excellent hustle, and you know the coach has to be pleased with that effort at the defensive end.
And now let's check out the lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Here's the second quarter of play. On the court right now for the Spurs, Ginobili out there with Boris Diaw. Then it's Mills. Then it's Tony Parker. And it's West in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. And the basket by Diaw.
And guys, one thing that we were treated with last year was Steve Kerr's great quotability in post-game interviews and pressers. He said all the right things and deflected praise like a coach who had done it for many years.
Spates sets a screen. Back to Iguodala. It's hauled in by Diaw. Spurs leading by 5. They set the pick. Parker against Thompson. Parker dishes to West. 5 to shoot. Here's Ginobili from 8. That doesn't go either by Ginobili. And Kerr is so good with the media because, Greg, he was a media member himself for so long. You know that as well as anybody. Clark, I don't think he ever tried his hand at broadcasting, though. I can't see him doing that, could you?
Yeah,
No,
right,
my goodness.
Right. He probably just thrown on as a broadcaster and would rarely contribute anything of note. Some guys have what it takes to call games, and Steve just doesn't quite scratch me as that kind of guy.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game.
You know, the league going to more ball movement, more outside shooting, less isolation play, and those are all natural fits for the talents of Klay Thompson, who's great moving off the ball, and we know he can stroke it from long range.
Catching up on the changes for Golden State, Andrew Bogut checked in for Spates. Harrison Barnes comes in for Andre Iguodala, and Curry subbed in for Sean Livingston.
That's their third straight make off an assist.
Great ball movement.
Parker against Curry. A shot, no good. And San Antonio will go the other way with it. Here's Ginobili. That's good, and so Duncan with the assist.
Make it 10 of their last 12 points coming off assists.
You have to love the ball movement.
Well, Greg, for Thompson, a hard-working defender. You were talking about it. Do you think Clark, his offensive style, frees him up to put more energy into defense?
Well, it could be. I mean, he's extremely smooth. He's uber smooth in how he operates. He doesn't have to drive the lane and absorb a lot of contact to get his shot off, and he's quick and efficient with his offense, so that does leave him more energy for the defensive end.
And what do you guys think so far about the offensive approach for San Antonio?
Boy, they've come out of that locker room with a hot hand. Those jumpers have been falling for them.
Yeah, also something I like out of them so far, they're throwing their bodies around in the paint, and the physicality is taking its toll.
Green, he's checked in for the Warriors. Barbosa comes in for Thompson. And San Antonio also making a switch. Leonard, he's checked in for Manu Ginobili.
And really, the Warriors had an amazing regular season last year. Just from a historical standpoint, it was one of the best ever.
The Warriors have converted 1 of 2 free throws so far today.
And last season, 77% from the line. You could usually get the job done there.
And you can't take those numbers lightly, fellas. I mean, their free throw shooting made a difference for them in a lot of their games last season.
Shooting 2.
That's good from Barnes. Barnes hits them both.
Yeah, in this quarter, they've had the right approach, driving and drawing, initiating contact, create opportunities, get to the line.
Yeah, I like everything you said there, because when all else fails, if you can get to the stripe, that's really a good way to change the momentum in the game, because you get points and you also slow down the opponent because the game isn't going up and down as much.
And for the Warriors last year, they would end the season with 67 wins. That number, Clark, tying for the 6th best win total in NBA history.
And my guess is only a few people saw it coming. I mean, and as the season wore on, it became more and more apparent that the Warriors were for real, but it took a while for people to accept that fact.
Here's Leonard. And it hung on the rim, but wouldn't fall for him. Warriors trail by 4. Barbosa passes to Green. The 3 falls through. He's now made 2 of 4. And almost 4 minutes gone here in the second quarter of play. Parker against Curry. Parker kicks to Aldridge. 17-foot shot on the way. And that one's good. Aldridge has got 4 points in the quarter.
Just couldn't get a hand in the face on that one.
That's using what you got. He's got a height advantage, put it to good use there, and got himself a clean look.
And the first half comes to a conclusion in a game that has been very close so far. Spurs lead by 3. And now let's catch up with Doris Burke, who's standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Thank you, Kevin. Coach, you haven't seen much work put in off the bench thus far. When we see that second unit after the break, what are you hoping to see from them?
I just want to have a semblance of motion so that they know where they're going and the ball moves. They don't play in a crowd. Just basically see if they know what they're doing.
We'll see, Coach. Thanks for the time. Guys.
All right, Doris, thank you. And time now for the halftime break with the third quarter soon to follow here on 2K Sports.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. Ernie Johnson here, joined by Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. We welcome you to the halftime show on 2K Sports. A pretty close game for the Spurs throughout the first quarter. At the end of one, they were able to end up with a 5-point lead. They didn't stop fighting in the second quarter as they maintained most of their first quarter lead and now lead by 3 at the break. Kenny, what was your take on San Antonio?
They were clearly a better shooting team. Their play calling and execution were on point. It wasn't a dominant performance, but you did get an idea of how efficient they can be. They'll need to continue that kind of shooting if they want to pull away in the second half.
Shaq, how'd you think the Warriors were playing?
They're giving up way too many good looks. You want to keep your opponent under 50% shooting? They have not done that. What's the solution? maybe more ball pressure, more physicality down low. Whatever it is, Ernie, they need to figure it out.
And now, folks, it's just about time for the third quarter to begin. We will see you after the final buzzer.
Well, both sides have assessed what they need to do over the break in halftime. We'll see now if one can pull out a way here in the third. Nice game, great performance by LaMarcus Aldridge.
He created a lot of quality shots for himself in that first half, and he knew when to pass it up when the double team came.
And that led to a very high points per shot number for him. For those of you that are into analytics, that stat really tells how efficient a player has been, and he's been very efficient so far.
The defensive stalwarts, Green and Bogut, are down low. The Splash Brothers are the guards. And it's Barnes in at the small forward position. That's Steve Kerr's 5 as we get into the second half.
Did you see that? Crossed the defender up and left him grasping at air.
And then exploded to the bucket for the finish. That was just an outstanding play from start to finish.
Barnes against Leonard. Shot clock at 6. They get a hand on it, and it's out of bounds, and they say it was last touched by Leonard.
Well, you know that Kawhi Leonard has an incredible reach with his arms, but even his hands are just massive, measured at 10 inches long and 11 inches wide. Wow.
And the Warriors making a change here. Spates is checked in. Otto Ginobili's checked in for San Antonio. Spates sets a screen. Thompson for 3. And the Warriors miss again. Well, to give some perspective on Leonard's hand size that Greg was talking about, Clark, those measurements, 11 by 10, are what you typically would find on 7-footers. Well, this kid's 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, and I'm 6'9", and I'm about 9 by 7, okay?
Huh.
So that just lets you know.
Wow.
The only other hands comparable to that, Dr. J.
Ooh, yeah, huge. Curry against Parker. And the Warriors miss again. San Antonio leading. Outside Aldridge. And Leonard has it in the corner. A shot. That one wide left.
That's 1 for their first 4 to start the second half.
Thompson. Again, the miss by Thompson. For San Antonio, they've gotten just 1 of their first 4 shots to fall since coming out of the locker room at the break. Leonard with the ball. Now Green defending. Here's Duncan. The shot is off. Warriors have gone 2 of 5 shooting here in the third quarter. And Thompson kicks to Curry. That's in, coming off the assist from Thompson. Curry's got the lead up to 2 now for the Warriors.
And his presence as a scorer, it just has a calming effect for the rest of the team. He's a fallback option whenever they need one.
San Antonio calls timeout.
And how about Harrison Barnes, the Black Falcon? I mean, he was a high school phenom in Ames, Iowa, and a lottery pick back in 2012 after 2 seasons at Carolina. Remember also in high school, he was a teammate of Dougie McBuckets.
Looking at who's out there now for the Warriors. Iguodala comes in for Barnes. And it's Barbosa in for Klay Thompson. The Spurs also changing it up. David West, he's checked in for Duncan. Diaw comes in for LaMarcus Aldridge. And it's Mills in for Parker. Harrison Barnes, of course, went to North Carolina, grew up as a huge fan of former Tar Heel Michael Jordan.
Yeah, you know, interesting, his mother started taping Jordan's games on the VCR years before he was born. His given name, Harrison Bryson Jordan Barnes. How about that for a factoid?
I didn't know that.
Nor did I.
And when you look at Draymond Green, he's not a guy who will wow you with his numbers or his athleticism, Clark. He brings a lot of intangibles, though. And I remember talking early in his career with Tom Izzo up at Michigan State saying those exact things, that he gives you so much more than just what you see.
And his current coach and our former partner, Steve Kerr, raves about him. He's the heart and soul of the Warriors, in Steve's words.
Catching up on the changes for Golden State. Festus Ezeli, he's jacked in for Spates. And it's Livingston in for Curry.
You know, you talk about Green's enthusiasm for the game. He's constantly talking, whether defensively or even in an opponent's ear. He's a vocal presence. And also another example of how a guy can make an impact without necessarily having it show up in the stat sheet.
Here is Livingston, covered by Mills. Clock at 6. Barbosa against Ginobili. Barbosa's shot is off.
And also, don't discount his leadership. Draymond Green's been a vocal leader his entire career. Even as a rookie, he wasn't afraid to challenge his teammates. And that competitive spirit, guys, can be contagious.
And he gets it to go.
They're scoring boatloads of buckets. It's raining buckets from inside.
Well, the defensive rotations, Greg, have been a step slow, and it's really helped them get that ball inside time after time.
Barbosa with it, and he sinks the shot coming off the strong pick. Barbosa's got his first basket. This game has a lot of character here in the third period.
Yeah, you know what, guys? I love seeing this type of action. A competitive, compelling matchup. A lot of lead changes here so far.
Yeah, 6 already. Intensity is the theme for this one.
And we're set to start the action up here in the fourth quarter. And if it's anything like the first 3, we should be in for a treat. On the court for San Antonio, Parker and Green are the guard pairing. Duncan is out there with LaMarcus Aldridge. And it's Leonard in at small forward. Bogut with a screen on Green. The drive by Thompson. Bogut. Aldridge with some nice D. San Antonio trailing here. Here's Green. Parker outside. Pass to Aldridge. The feed to Leonard. Shot clock at 5. Back to Aldridge. Lets it go. That's good, and it's Leonard with the assist. And that's now 10 points for Aldridge.
Just a great battle these two teams are waging here today.
Boy, it sure is, and I'm getting the sense that this game could end up being decided by just 1 or 2 plays down the stretch.
And it's sent back by Aldridge. We're just over a minute into this final quarter of play. Curry against Parker. Aldridge a screen. With some arc. Tries again. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact and he'll shoot 2.
And you don't ever want to get into the habit of letting the offense get to the rim.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, that's the message they were sending with that foul. Nothing easy inside.
Spates checked in for Andre Iguodala. He hits the second from the line.
Well, they should be looking at a 3-point lead. Hopefully for them, that miss won't cost them.
And Spates with the basket on the assist by Curry.
I tell you what, you don't want to allow too many of those kinds of baskets with the game on the line.
This is when the defenders really have to protect the basket. You need to be in sync as a unit defensively.
A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Guys, thank you. I got a chance to hear what Greg Popovich was saying to his team. With the game hanging in the balance, he tried to give his players some added motivation, saying, quote, "This is the time, guys, right now. Be in this moment. Do your job, and we'll get the win." Back to you.
Thank you, Doris.
And that's another assist for a team that is putting on a clinic on how to share the ball.
And I love the mentality that they've had. If a shot isn't there, they're not forcing it. They're moving it side to side until they finally get the one they want.
He dishes it to Spates. Lets it go from 14. The Spurs have gone 2 of 3 from the field to get the fourth quarter started. Parker passes to Aldridge. And the rebound goes to the Warriors. Barnes kicks to Thompson. Right side Curry. That's in, coming off the assist from Thompson. Thompson's got 3 assists now in this one.
He wasn't able to get his name in the score sheet in the first half. but he looks like he's starting to find his comfort zone here.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. The score knotted at 32. 1:36 left to play in the final quarter. Green, he's checked in for Golden State. Ginobili's checked in for San Antonio. Fourth quarter of play, and we're about 2.5 minutes through it right now. Parker dishes to Duncan. That's good. And the Spurs lead by 2.
And thus far, they've managed to overcome an off game from him offensively.
Now a timeout called by Golden State. They're trailing by 2. 1:30 left in the fourth quarter. Here's Green, and it's Golden State with another. San Antonio calls timeout. The score is tied at 34. 1:27 left in the fourth quarter. Just over 2.5 minutes played now here in the final quarter of regulation. Aldridge, no one around him. It's rebounded by Golden State. Barnes has got 3 rebounds now in this one. Thompson misses. The Spurs have gone 3 of 6 from the field so far in the fourth quarter. Ginobili the pass to Parker. Kicks to Aldridge. From the baseline. Money!
And at the offensive end, he's done about as much as they could have hoped for today.
Now a timeout called by Golden State. They're behind by 2. 58 seconds left to play here in the fourth. .58 seconds left in the game. Curry against Parker. Curry is inside. Excellent D there from Parker.
Well, he won't miss many of those, especially with the defender not in the best of positions there. Boy, he blew the easy 2 by profile, trying to look good. That's a bad decision and poor execution. No question about it. Curry is on fire right now. Curry has been all sorts of trouble for him. 9 points, then his huge assist tally makes it all the more impressive.
You know what? He's the catalyst. He's the reason why this team plays with such harmony. And if his passing continues, they are going to be dangerous.
Duncan, a screen. Aldridge kicks to Duncan. Count it!
When Duncan is on like he is now, there's really not much you can do about it.
Now a timeout called by Golden State. They're down by 1. 24 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Here's Curry. 20 seconds left in the fourth.
And they had a foul to give, but you want to use it on the ground.
Yeah, I agree with you there, but at least they did get the clock stopped. That is the one saving grace of that situation.
He knocks down the clutch free throw. And so he's good on both free throws, and that gives them the lead.
In a crucial spot, he is always so solid at the line. He rarely wastes those opportunities.
San Antonio calls timeout. They're trailing by 1. 19 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Thompson against Parker. Dishes it to Aldridge. Oh, no good.
And that's the way you want to defend. Nice job there.
Always important to have that good interior defense.
Honestly, just doing what they have to in order to get the basketball back.
That's a good foul, though. I like that. I mean, clock management crucial at this time of the game.
Second free throw, no good that time. He really wanted that one. Oh, the all-or-nothing shot, no good. So it's a narrow victory for the Warriors, pulling out the W. That was a fun night of basketball and fabulous finish as Clark, they continued to wait out until the very last moment to seal.
Yep, and it might not be the way a coach would have drawn it up or wanted it to end, but these fans loved it.
And that'll wrap it up, folks. This is Kevin Harlan saying thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
The 2K Sports post-game show.